So let me say welcome and happy holidays to our Course in Miracles family, and indeed to anybody that may be watching this recording. Happy holidays to everyone. Uh, it's been a good year for me. I've been practicing this thing called letting go, let go, and let God. And I'm sorry, it seems like it works. Uh, Things have been going so much better. I find that I really have reduced the amount of fear in my life. And I'm feeling so well taken care of because, as strange as it may seem, Jim's not doing it anymore. I've signed off from that. To take the course's advice, I have resigned as my own teacher. And, it may seem like, okay, so who's going to do it? And there is somebody that's doing it. It's hard to explain, but I feel so much more relaxed, like I'm comforted, like I'm being taken care of, just like all the words in the books say. But I've really had to make an effort to do it as close to 100% as I can. And I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and the results seem to be just what the writings say that they are. There is an invisible entity, an intelligent entity, call it God or a higher power or whatever you want. Whatever you call it, I'm a witness that it's real, and that if you'll let it, it'll take really good care of you. So that's kind of a summation of the biggest thing that I've learned this year. Any thoughts on that before we go on? Have you seen any results from your willingness this year?
Well, I've had a few just little mini miracles that shocked me when they happened. And I asked Holy Spirit, was that good? And he tells me by pushing me backwards.
I'm sorry, say that again. You asked.
I say to Holy Spirit, is this a good idea? And I get pushed backwards. That means no.
Okay. You know, one of the biggest signs for me, Meg, and everybody, whether, you know how you say, okay, God, give me a sign, or okay, Holy Spirit, give me a sign. And I've come to find out that if it's not easy, that's a sign that it's not for me right now. As I've gotten older and wiser, I think I don't do anything that's hard, because if spirit, yeah, if spirits involved, stuff will come together. If it's not coming together easily, that's a sign. You want a sign, right?
Yeah.
So Spirit said, I gave you a sign. It was hard, right? Does that sound like me? And the bonus is, because I only do things that are easy, that are not hard, my life as a byproduct becomes easier,
Yeah.
simpler. more straightforward, all because I've learned to recognize spirit's signs. Now, if it's hard, that doesn't mean it'll never be for me. It just means that the time may not be right. And so it may roll around again with easier signs. And that means move forward, you see? Anyhow, I don't know if you believe any of that, but this is my theory that I've developed, and it allows me not to go after stuff by any means necessary. Why don't we get into a different subject here? I brought some meditation music, and I thought
before that, I wonder if I can press the easy button.
yes,
sir. Confirm what you said.
Thank you. Okay. Now, Staples is not a spiritual entity per se, but do you see the same spiritual principle involved? So, like,
I sure do.
I carry that easy button with me. Easy does it, as they say in 12 steps, right, Ron? Was there something else?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ron.
That's it.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Well,
I'll press her one more time and then we can move forward.
that puts a point on it, and I'll get the music started. And we'll take a few minutes to meditate and get ourselves in the mood for our study tonight, okay? Thank you. I'm sorry, let me stop sharing. I forgot to do some quality enhancements. Can y'all hear it? Good. So peace and love, everybody, again. That's one of my favorites. It's called Inner Dance. And I've been playing that for a while. It's in 2 parts. So I kind of like part B because it starts getting kind of weird, you know, did you notice? But it started out as nice piano music. In any event, I hope that's appropriate. We're ready to start our study again of the supplement, the Song of Prayer. And we've already done psychotherapy, and we are on, let me see, what page is it? I have page 19. Does everyone have it, or do I need to explain how to get to it or anything?
Oh, yes.
All right, well, good deal. So we are on section, we're starting section Roman numeral 3, separation versus union. And then after that, there's one more section, section Roman 4, the holiness of healing. And guess what? After that, we'll be completely finished with our summer study of these supplements that we started on June 13th. Now, we have one more session, so we'll try and do Roman 3 tonight, and Gina will take on completing Roman 4 next week. And then we're all on holiday break. And when we come back, I have a nice little review session to give us a chance to review and summarize our summer study. So I've got a draft of those discussion questions together. So you know me, I like to do little things that make you think and speak and help solidify your understanding. I hope you see it that way, okay? So without further ado, I'm ready to, well, first of all, let me say hello to Sue and hello to Dee. I think you joined us during the meditation period here. You guys okay?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dee. And how about you, Sue? You good? Is Sue still there?
Yeah, she's on mute.
There.
Oh,
She's
she's
muted.
Okay, I'm very good.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, my dear. Good to see you. So
Thank you.
listen, with that said, let's get our readers going here so we can get to this material. Gina, would you be number 1? Is there anyone that does not want to read? Okay, I'll go down the list. Joan is 2, Debbie 3, Meg 4, Frank 5, Ron 6, Linda 7, Sherilyn 8, Sue is 9.
No, I'm not reading.
Oh, you're not reading?
I don't have the book.
All right. Well, we can accommodate that. So, Gina, without further ado, would you get us started, please, ma'am? Page 19.
Certainly.
Thanks.
Separation versus union. False healing heals the body in a part, but never as a whole. Its separate goals become quite clear in this, for it has not removed the curse of sin that lies on it. Therefore, it still deceives. Nor is it made by one who understands the other is exactly like himself, for it is this that makes true healing possible. When false, there is some power that another has, not equally bestowed on both as one. Here is the separation shown, and here the meaning of true healing has been lost, and idols have arisen to obscure the unity that is the Son of God.
Thank you, Gina. Can we do another one and then talk about the two together? Is that okay? So Joan, if you do paragraph 2.
Sure. Healing to separate may seem to be a strange idea, and yet it can be said of any form of healing that is based on inequality of any kind. These forms may heal the body, and indeed are generally limited to this. Someone knows better, has been better trained, or is perhaps more talented and wise. Therefore, he can give healing to the one who stands beneath him in his patronage. The healing of the body can be done by this because, in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. The shifts and change are what the dream is made of. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one who by his arts and learning will succeed.
Comments, paragraphs 1 or 2. Well, what is the perspective for where we are? We came in talking about healing. It had an introduction that started on page 16. And then the rest of the section on healing is in 4 subsections. But let's go back to the introduction. Prayer has both aids and witnesses that make the steep ascent more gentle and more sure, easing the pain of fear and offering the comfort and the promises of hope. What is the aid to prayer according to?
The aid to prayer is forgiveness.
And what is the witness to prayer?
Healing.
Okay. So then it first talks about the cause of sickness and says that please don't make the traditional mistake of thinking that healing applies some sort of remedy in the physical. Doesn't he say that true healing is not physical?
Mm-hmm.
What is true healing? Well, where does it occur? Is it physical?
In our
In the
consciousness.
mind.
All right, so these are mental activities. There is no physical activity that's really involved in healing. Now, I don't know about you, but that's amazing. And I think you'll start to see it as we go into this reading. Like it said, the cause of sickness, Romans 1 on page 16. And then on 17, Jesus talks about false versus true healing. I'm just going to throw it out there. All physical, quote unquote, healing is false healing. Oh, comments so far. We're working our way back to page 19. So if you go to the doctor and you have cancer and the cancer is quote unquote cured, are you healed?
No. No.
Yeah, because you're just as sick, you're just as vulnerable to the next symptom of sickness. So then you get COVID, right? So the healing that was applied to cancer at best is a delay tactic toward death. You with me?
Mhm.
Who is it that can heal death through physical means? But who can resolve the problem of life or death through mental means? So much of everything we talked about comes from this statement, know thyself. Well, isn't that what everyone wants to know? Who am I? If I could get you to accept the answer to that question, all your other problems would be solved. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all other things will be added to you or taken care of. So we only have this one issue if we are to truly heal. So false healing addresses essentially symptoms of sickness like cancer, like COVID, like a broken arm, like indigestion, like I don't feel good, that whole category. You with me? He says all of those things, regardless of the appearance of remedy or improvement, are false healing. Now that's deep to me, but he touched upon it back in the course when we were looking at the manual for teachers. You remember back there where it talked about healing, and he said something like, well, the patient could just rise up and say, I no longer have need for this, and heal himself. How could a patient rise up and say, I'm healed because I no longer have need for this? And we said, okay, Jesus, we love you. We don't quite get it, but I'm open, I'm willing. And now here he is again talking about this crazy idea of what healing really is. And so we come to this discussion of separation versus union. And I'm going to shut up. Okay. But to set the tone, let me remind you of this principle that we've heard in the course consistently. Healing is wholeness. Healing is oneness. Healing is equality. So with that as a background, I'll take you back to paragraphs 1 and 2 that we just read. Do you see anything that talks about healing being wholeness yet? Do you see anything like that in paragraph 1?
Well, the first sentence, both healing heals the body in a part, but never as a whole.
So there's that word whole or wholeness, right?
Mhm.
Wholeness, oneness, unity. Look at, I'm sorry. How about sentence 7? There's a word there called separation. Do you see it? Here is the separation shown. Do you see it? Sentence 7. So we saw 2 key words so far, the word wholeness, and he talked about separation. And the title of this section, Roman 3, talks about separation versus wholeness. Is that a good word for union? Is that contradictory to the word union if I say healing versus, I'm sorry, separation versus wholeness?
Well, it's not contradictory.
Now, you see there, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm amazed that this is saying what you call healing is not healing at all. That's solidly what's coming across, and that's so amazing. It's hard to wrap my mind around. So given that separation might be akin to false healing versus reestablishing wholeness, just keep those things in mind. Let's go to paragraph 2. And it says, healing to separate may seem to be a strange idea, and yet it can be said of any form of healing that is based on inequality of any kind. Okay, I'm a cardiologist, okay? I have a good heart. I spend my whole life trying to heal people of cardiac problems. Are you telling me that I'm not healing at all? Right? Comment, you look puzzled.
The doctor and the patient are equal.
Not when the doctor has the cure and the patient is the recipient, quote unquote. There's the giver and then there's the receiver, right? I'll give the healing and I'm very well intentioned. I have a good heart. I put my whole life into healing. Are you telling me that all of my efforts, as sincere as they are misguided? Isn't that what this is saying?
Pretty
Okay, who
much.
read number 2, Joni? Read it again. Sue, wait, you had a comment, Sue?
Yeah, and Debbie has a comment too.
Okay,
I wanted to share, first of all, the basic premise of health today, the healthcare system, is it's not finding the root cause. It's taking care of the symptoms. And some people are cured and some people are not. Thank God I'm healthy. I'm very fortunate. I will say that I've always been on a team as a caregiver. I don't like that word because it was a team giver as far as I'm concerned. And being that we are of unity, we would investigate the, in quotes, healing, what we could do on a human level. But we would also equally or more so do what is necessary on a spiritual level.
yeah,
And I live on this earth, so I'm taking everything I can get to, in quotes, heal and achieve wholeness. Now, doctors were amazed at the outcomes. I mean, Al still died, and Al did not heal where he was back to normal. But what he did, they said they couldn't believe he could even do half of what he did. I don't have an answer for it. But what we did every single day, and I do it now for myself, and probably everybody here does it, is to heal on a spiritual level, to learn on a spiritual level. And when you put it together, you got the human side and you got the spiritual side. I don't know why I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I mean, some people would say it's genetic. I would say it's a combination of everything. But I am absolutely convinced that the spiritual level is indeed the major part of it. Because if I'm in a mess, when you first described healing and when you're sick and you went into, you feel horrible and the doctor gives you the diagnosis and you're going to die and blah, 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 blah. If all of us concentrated on that, and I cannot be in someone else's shoes, I couldn't be in Al's shoes. The fact is, but I do know if you concentrate on that, you will make yourself worse.
if you concentrate on what?
You concentrate on being sick and what's wrong with you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
What I'm hearing you say, though, is that you were with a group that put a lot of emphasis on, as far as healing, on the spiritual or
Yes.
mental aspects as much as treating the symptoms, right?
Yes, we did. We
Yeah,
were with groups that we selected just for that reason.
yes. Thanks for sharing that, Sue. Debbie, you had a comment too, did I hear?
Well, I guess this is along the same lines. You've got the two things. You've got the patient expressing the symptom, and then you've got the healer who is, doing seemingly physical things to treat it. But I guess, like Sue said, we need the spiritual. We need to recognize what is the source
Yeah,
of all healing.
yeah,
And the real sickness, I think what we're trying to say here is that the patient believes that they are separate from their creator.
yes.
And that's really where we it's okay to set the bone. It's okay to do the physical things, as long as we recognize
That
what the
that
real problem is.
and yet we're doing all that we can at this time. We're covering the symptoms, but with the full realization is that there's more work to do to achieve true healing amongst our brothers and sisters. That healing, true healing, is of the mind. I'm not trying to take away from treating the symptoms, and I'm not trying to say that those dedicated doctors and nurses aren't good-hearted people doing the best they can, and they've invested a lot in what they do. But it's kind of audacious that here Jesus is saying, no matter what you do on that level where you're healer and the recipient of healing, there's a lack of equality there that makes healing impossible. Is that where he's headed in these first two paragraphs called separation versus healing? So Joan, read paragraph 2 again, kind of with the predicate we've put together so far.
Okay. Healing to separate may seem to be a strange idea, and yet it can be said of any form of healing that is based on inequality of any kind. These forms may heal the body and indeed are generally limited to this. Someone knows better, has been better trained, or is perhaps more talented and wise. Therefore, he can give healing to the one who stands beneath him in his patronage. The healing of the body can be done by this because in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. The shifts and change are what the dream is made of. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one who by his arts and learning will succeed.
Is that helpful, all the talk we did before? Because this is wild stuff. I have to say, out of all the things I've studied in the course, this is the most difficult for me to, and yet it's true. I mean, you go out and you cure your cancer and get hit by a Mack truck. Or you cure the cancer and you have a heart attack. Or you cure the cancer and your liver shuts down. So it's plausible, but I just want you to see as we move into this, that if you're thinking, okay, I love you, Jesus, but come on now. Well, that's kind of me too sometimes. Debbie?
Well, I guess I just have a question. So they're saying the healing of the body can be done by this because in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. The shifts and change are what the dream is made of. And so my question is that because when there's true union, we're no longer alive, we've gone to another realm? Is that what this is saying?
I think so.
Okay.
Other comments on Debbie's assessment here. See, the nature of dreams is that it's always, here, do this. You got your books here, right? So go back into the workbook and take a look at, I'm sorry, go back into the manual for teachers. It's on page 72. And it is kind of the epilogue to the manual for teachers. Let me just read some of it and I'll get to the good part here, okay? It starts out, and now in all your doings, be you blessed, right? You see it?
Good.
God turns, we're on page 72 in the manual for teachers.
Okay.
And now in all your doings, be you blessed. God turns to you for help to save the world. Teacher of God, his thanks he offers you. And all the world stands silent in the grace you bring to him. You are the son he loves, and it is given you to be the means through which his voice is heard around the world, to close all things of time, to end the sight of all things visible, and to undo all things that change. Do you see? If it changes, it can't be eternal by definition, right?
Right.
So all of our healing that's directed in an environment that changes is illusory. Aren't we trying to have our brothers and sisters stop relying on temporal things, on things that change, in our recognition that reality is eternal? It does not change. So if you see something that changes, flags should go up right away. How can this be eternal if it changes? And if only the eternal is real, what is it that changes in eternity? I'm just asking because these are heavyweight things to reconcile, aren't they? I'm a long way from Song of Prayer section Roman 3, but it made me think of that line in that final prayer, and that we want to close all things of time and to end the sight of things visible and undo all things that change. Through you is ushered in a world unseen, unheard, yet truly there. So I don't want to get too far off the subject, but is that helpful? Who was it asking about that thing? It said, we were talking about the healing of the body can be done by this, because in dreams, equality cannot be permanent. The shifts and change are what the dream is made of. To be healed appears to be to find a wiser one. So again, not to belabor it, it's just that our idea of healing is totally erroneous. It's compassionate. Okay, I'm not mad at it, but it's not healing. So where we're headed, I think, is to talk about what healing really is, what it looks like, and how we as teachers of God can help to bring about true healing. Any other comments?
Yes, I study something called metapsychiatry, which is very similar to all spiritual paths are similar to me. And I like their take. You do what you need to do until you know what you need to know.
Yeah. Okay.
And I, in one of the cameos of the new edition of the Course in Miracles, Bill was questioning whether he should get the flu shot or not. And
Mhm.
basically he was told to get it. There's nothing wrong with getting it.
Yeah.
So we do what we need to do until we know what we need to know.
Yeah, because someone was saying that before, and Reverend Cindy at my church says it all the time. We are simultaneously human and divine. The Course, there's a statement that says, the risen Son of Man is the Son of God. So get used to it. You got to have your foot in two worlds here for a while, level 1 and level 2. In level 2, I get my COVID shot, I get my flu shot, blah, blah, blah. Even though I don't believe in it, I do it to help me stay incognito here in level 2, so that I preserve the body. It's not me, but it's
Well,
my work uniform, D.
I do believe in it. Otherwise I wouldn't be getting it. So
Mhm.
I have to say I do believe in it. And I don't know what I need to know yet. So I do believe in it. I can't pretend that I don't. I think it does help protect the body.
And yet the body's not real.
Correct, but I don't know that yet either. I'm
Yeah,
not fully convinced of.
but I get
Good
the
point.
feeling you
Very
do
good
know
point.
that.
I don't fully know it, or I wouldn't
Is
get the
that,
shot.
Don't
is
either.
that what
I wouldn't get the shots if I really knew that.
Really believed it.
Yeah,
all right. There was
Mhm.
to me.
another comment
So,
too. Yeah. Sue, were you going to say something?
Yes, I do agree with Dee. I thought that was marvelous. We do what we need to do until we know what we need to know. I thought that was excellent because
Yeah.
I'm going to give an example, and I don't have an answer for it. I have a niece who had cancer. It was stage 4. She recovered. She's a yoga teacher. She's now doing yoga. She's traveling all over the country. She is supposedly perfectly healthy. What's that called?
Mhm.
You're asking?
Yeah,
remission.
it's called prevention. Is that what you said?
I said remission. She's gotten, they never say the cancer's gone, but it's in remission.
Well, there are people where their remission is until they leave this earth.
I'm just saying, I think that may be what they call it, is remission.
Let's see.
Oh, no, she wasn't called remission. He
Well,
told her she was free
let
of
me
cancer.
broaden that to let me broaden it a little bit, Sue.
Okay.
What was achieved was that death was in remission.
Okay.
It's not gone. It's still coming. But we simply slowed it down through certain medicinal means and practices that we call medicine.
Mhm.
But it
But
made her life wonderful.
Mhm.
temporarily.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're all going to die. There's nobody
That's my
getting out of
point.
this alive
So
or alive
they're
according to
all
human.
delaying tactics for what must be inevitable on level 2.
But we
Mhm.
don't die either. We continue on to a new life.
Well, I understand that, but that's because you understand there's something real beyond level
I do.
2.
Mhm.
At
And
least I
that's
feel
why I
that.
was saying to Dee, as you know better, you become a lucid dreamer.
Mhm.
So if that's the case, what need is there to take care of the body? Well, I know that the world's not real, but I use a car to get around. I take good care of my car, not because my car is salvation, but because it's prudent to do. It helps me carry out
sense.
my message for spirit here on level 2. Now, if I take good care of my car, how much more so would you think it'd be good to take care of your body? It's no longer me, but it is a communication device here. Debbie, I saw your hand again. Jump
Well,
in.
I was just gonna, because it occurred to me, we were talking about some of the things. So if you have a broken leg, but you're reading this and going, oh, but my real problem is that I believe I'm separate from God. Well, that's all well and good. But
Go
unless
ahead
that
and get
leg,
the leg fixed. Is
but
what I'm saying.
it's gonna be much tougher to do that till you get the leg fixed or the
Right.
cancer under control or the
Right.
heart back in rhythm,
So it's
It's gonna,
easier to carry out your mission here.
yeah.
I didn't know that before. Now that I know that, it's not that I believe that curing my body is salvation.
Right.
It's just that if I gave you a tool to do a job with, would you take care of your tool?
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not an idol anymore. It becomes simply taking care of the vehicle that I'm using here as a communication device for Holy Spirit.
So that makes each one of us very, very special. And therefore, we have to take care of what is special about us. It just makes sense to me that you work the two together.
Correct.
And when I leave, I may be entirely different, but I haven't left yet. Not that
I'm not in Rome. I mean, I'm not from Rome, but I've been placed here in Rome for a mission.
Yeah,
So
I bet I believe very strongly.
what's needed, but I don't believe in it for salvation the way I used to. I am not a body. I am free, right? So what do I do with the body? I take good care of it because it helps me to facilitate a primary goal. The body is secondary. But does that mean that I just ignore it here in level 2?
Absolutely not.
So do you see how I can have a win-win in both my human side and yet have it be managed by my spiritual side? So I go see the doctor, I get my shots, I do these things, but it's only to maintain my presence here in Rome because I got a mission here. I'm the light of the world, damn it. Comments?
I have a question.
Hey, Jeff.
From your perspective, why is there pain at all?
Oh Lord. How about I start
In
with
one sentence.
So what do you think? What do you guys, why are you asking that question?
Because there is pain, a lot of disease, a lot of things have pain. If you break your elbow, I didn't know an elbow was so painful. I didn't even know what was involved. I do now. My sister had a broken elbow. And don't ever fall on your elbow, I'll tell you right now, because it takes a long time to heal, because you have to be able to maneuver it. But
Listen,
what I'm saying is, what is the purpose of pain? Why do we need pain at all?
I think pain's a symptom. It's the body
yeah,
drawing
it's
our
part of
attention
the
to something like a fever, like a,
Yeah, we've been trained that that's a symptom, but couldn't you have a better symptom?
I don't know.
you could have a lot of better things outside this limited fence, this device. But let me put it this way. Never minimize your power.
That's important.
Even our dreams are such that if you get kicked in the leg, you feel the pain.
Mhm.
Someone would say, well, I might be dreaming, let me pinch myself. And if I can feel it, I know I'm not dreaming. Isn't that how a lot of people say they can pull themselves out of a dream? Let me pinch myself. This dream is so real, you pinch yourself and you say it must be real because I can even feel that pain. It doesn't attest to any reality. It just attests to how good the dream was made. Who doesn't understand where I'm coming from here? Maybe I could say it better. Okay, you even get pain when you stub your toe. That doesn't make it real. It just makes it a really good dream.
I have a different understanding of that.
Go ahead.
So everything we're taught in the course, everything is a thought. Everything. So it's a thought that needs healing in my consciousness. And it goes back to principle number 7. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. So I've been taught, well, it's kind of similar to Louise Hay, but not really, because in metapsychiatry in general, they say pain is an angry interaction thought. So it's not similar in this sense. It is similar in the sense that everything is a thought. And it's not similar in the sense that it's not one size fits all. So I need to understand the meaning of my angry interaction thought. And that's what I'm taught pain is, and it goes right along with the course. Everything is a thought, and purification of my consciousness is necessary.
Yeah, it does take us back to the level where healing can really occur. Like you mentioned, Dee, and Louise Hay expounded upon in her books. Physical symptoms have their origin in thought.
And she was a unity minister, not a unity, she was a science of mind minister, where everything the same as the course, everything comes from thought. So that's what needs healing.
And if you want to know how powerful your thoughts are, even your illusions are really, really real. Oh, God. Okay, I can't use the pinch test to see if I'm dreaming, because I made this dream where if I pinch myself, it hurts. If I get cancer, it hurts. If something, it actually hurts. Do you see what a powerful dream we weave? Because we're powerful creators, even in the wrong direction. Our stuff is super powerful.
Doesn't it say somewhere in the course that if there's pain, there's no God? Is that,
Yes.
I don't know where it is though.
Look at 191.
Oh, you're good.
No, not yet. I'm getting like really rusty. I gotta start brushing up.
191.
Yeah.
Workbook
It-
or text?
Nope, that's not it. It says, I choose the joy of God instead of pain.
Okay.
Oh, something like that, Lord.
Yeah, and it may be that one. I got the number wrong, so I'm not that good anymore, darn it. Okay.
You don't have all the numbers of the lessons memorized.
Yeah, I mean, it's, boy, I'll tell you, that's the only place I seem to have this photographic memory. But yeah, if there's pain, there is no God.
Oh,
That's
because
what we-
because I'm thinking about the pain and I'm not connecting with God. It goes back to what Dee was saying, right? Is that,
and what
yeah,
it was
because
that you was saying along those lines, Debbie?
I think, you know, right, Dee, if we're thinking we're in pain, that's because we're having a thought that we're in pain.
Something in my consciousness needs to be purified.
Needs to be
Yeah.
addressed, so I need to look at that.
By the way, I'm feeling better. It's less than 190, not 191.
Oh,
Close.
But
you are a pain, Jim. Sorry.
thank you.
I'm
But
sorry, that's recorded too. Oh, no.
Can't take it back.
No,
it's like if there is no in between, I'll give you brownie points for playing with it. But one day you got to get serious. If there's a God, and God is all that is, and God is the author of reality, and God is love, where does pain come from?
The ego?
My thoughts.
Ego.
And you
Oh.
can have any thought you want, but whatever you think isn't necessarily true. But if you keep thinking it, you will begin to manifest its consequences. And that's how we got in this world, through a ground of separation that comes with some very disappointing consequences. Where'd you come up with this idea of pain? Does pain and love go together?
Uh, well, the first sentence in that lesson is pain is a wrong perspective.
Correct.
And then if you go down to paragraph 5, it says, it is your thoughts alone that cause you
That
pain.
cause you pain.
So that's kind of
Oh,
what
back
you
to
said.
D, wow.
Right. Okay. All right, shall we continue at length? This is unbelievable. I was looking at this and saying, oh my God, we only got to go like 6 paragraphs.
Yeah, right,
And we had, what, an hour and a half session roughly.
right.
But here
This is called leaving it all for the substitute, right? Miss Gina's gonna come in and say, we can't talk about anything. We're only reading."
So listen, let's try and finish as much of this up too, so we don't overburden Gina next week. Our next reader I have is Debbie. Is that
Yeah,
correct? Oh,
that's what I have. Yeah, okay.
all right.
Oh, boy. Somebody knows better. This, the magic phrase by which the body seems to be the aim of healing as the world conceives of it. And to this wiser one, another goes to profit by his learning and his skill, to find in him the remedy for pain. How can that be? True healing cannot come from inequality assumed and then accepted as the truth and used to help restore the wounded and to calm the mind that suffers from the agony of doubt.
Where have we seen this discussion of this equality or inequality relationship before in these supplements? Does it ring a bell?
Yeah. Psychotherapy.
Yes. The psychotherapist and the patient.
Mhm.
And it was said that healing cannot occur if the psychotherapist thinks that they are the one that is the top dog bestowing a gift on a lowly patient, right?
Absolutely.
And now here we are again with this inequality thing and how it has to do with healing. So having said that, thank you, Deb. If there are no questions, let's go to Meg. You want to read next, dear?
Okay.
Paragraph 4.
Okay.
Really can.
Is there a role for healing then that one can use to offer help for someone else? In arrogance, the answer must be no. But in humility, there is indeed a place for helpers. It is like the role that helps in prayer, and lets forgiveness be what it is meant to be. You do not make yourself the bearer of the special gift that brings the healing. You but recognize your oneness with the one who calls for help. For in this oneness is a separate sense dispelled, and it is this that made him sick. There is no point in giving remedy apart from where the source of sickness is, for never thus can it truly be truly healed.
Okay. Meg, we'll have to maybe talk. Your mic goes in and out. I noticed it last week.
Oh,
You'll be sounding good and then it'll get low. So
oh,
no worries, we're following along, but if we get to communicate this week, maybe we can talk about how to we can
okay.
resolve that issue. Let's go one more paragraph before discussion though, and fill in paragraph 5 with Frank, please.
Okay. Healers there are, for they are sons of God, who recognize their source and understand that all their source creates is one with them. This is a remedy that brings a relief in which it cannot fail. It will remain to bless for all eternity. It heals no part, but wholly and forever. Now the cause of every malady has been revealed exactly as it is. And in that place is written, now the holy word of God. Sickness and separate must be healed by love and union. Nothing else can heal as God established healing. Without him, there is no healing, for there is no love.
Comments?
Wow.
if this is true, what does it do to all of the healing? Dee, did you have a comment?
I do. This whole conversation doesn't seem, something seems off to me. And that's something, the best that I could describe it is, it's not about our body healing. It's always only, the only thing that is can be sick is our mind. And to like, if somebody is in a wheelchair, right, was even born that way, doesn't mean that they're not whole. Doesn't mean that there's something, you know, to me, it's just, it's always about our consciousness needing healing.
Yeah, I
So,
totally.
I mean, if somebody can't be healed in a wheelchair, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that they're less spiritual being than I am.
That's right.
I
So something
certainly
just
would-
seems off with this. I don't know. I'm sorry, but it just,
Well, no, I don't apologize at all, because when I came into this, uh, it's quite a leap, isn't it? It's quite, like, if this is true, what should all of our healing professions be working on?
we
What-
should all be
Mind.
working on ourselves, not
What
just
should
healing
all the
professions.
doctors and nurses be doing if they're healers?
Healing the
We
mind.
all need to work on ourselves. To me is the point. We can, the only one that can heal our consciousness is myself.
And yet, as Jesus said here in paragraph 4, is there a role for healing then that one can use to offer help for someone else? In arrogance, the answer must be no. Everyone has to heal themselves through the acceptance of healing their mind. However, in humility, there is indeed a place for helpers. If I want to be a healer, the main thing I would focus on is helping brothers and sisters to know themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So healing is not of the body. If I want to be a healer, it's of the mind.
So if that's true going forward, there would be a place for healing professions. Maybe they're still called doctors and nurses and therapists and all of that, but their techniques would change drastically, wouldn't they?
A good healer today, a good therapist, is not one that puts him or herself above the client. They are equal, and they are both teachers and students, and they're concentrating on giving forth the growth to the client. It's all about the client, and the client has it there. You're just reminding him and teaching him how to do it, and then he takes it and runs.
Yes, I totally agree. Do you see how we're on together a new track or thinking about what healing is? The only issue is, and Deb, I'll come right back to you. The only issue is for you to help your brother or sister to know themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You help them to help themselves.
Well, hold on.
I'm
You
sorry.
have to know yourself before you can share this
Oh,
with
yeah, that's
somebody
true.
else, or else you'll be an unhealed healer.
Yeah.
True.
Debbie, go ahead, dear.
And I guess this may be what I was getting to. Maybe different patients in different places. The
Different
patient
levels.
in a wheelchair maybe needs is there to open the perception of who's trying to be who believes that they're a helper or a healer, because we need to have our minds open to our own thoughts. How am I connecting with my thoughts, and how am I perceiving the world around me? I don't know. That's kind of a stab in the dark, but you see
And
where
if-
I'm coming from?
if
We
you-
need to see different things.
If you like to be a healer and are willing to know what healing is and you want to share it, and if you're sincere, opportunities will come up. Do you think we're all together at random?
No.
No,
So what if you want to be a healer? The first thing is the sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for themselves. You got to have this before you can share it. Do you see how it's incumbent upon you first? And then I'll send you to people who are ready for you, and you'll be ready for who I'll send to you. Do you really think this Course in Miracles group has come together by accident?
No.
Nope.
We are fulfilling your needs, Meg. Meg, you are fulfilling mine. Joe, fulfilling your sincere wishes along with Linda. And lo and behold, somehow we're all together learning more together in a group out of our willingness. Who is
And
it
that-
that, go ahead.
And that follows through with the person in the wheelchair. The person in the wheelchair may be far above me in some areas, and
Yes,
in other areas, they're learning from me.
that's
So
what made
we,
me think of that. Go ahead, though, Sue. Sorry. Mhm.
and a really good therapist thinks of it that way. I mean, I've had doctors where I'm up here, you're down here, do what I tell you. I don't have to tell you why, I don't have to tell you how. Well, I don't relate to that, so I'm gone. But some people do.
Yes,
That's what some people like. It's
And-
just
and-
not me.
and some people cop out and depend on that
That's right.
relationship. There's someone magical outside of me that can heal me. And the myth gets propagated that way. So, Dee, I'm back to you. You said something doesn't sit right. And it didn't sit right with me either, that healing, true healing, is so far from what I could imagine. Any other comments, Dee, certainly from you or anyone? Then let's do this last paragraph and we'll start wrapping up here. Ron, you're next for 6.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
God's voice alone can tell you how to heal. Listen and you will never fail to bring his kindly remedy to those he sends to you, to let him heal them, and to bless all those who serve with him in healing's name. The body's healing will occur because its cause has gone, and now without a cause, it cannot come again in different form. Nor will death anymore be feared because it has been. There is no fear in one who has been truly healed, for love has entered now where idols used to stand, and fear has given way at last to God.
Thanks, Ron. And just so I don't forget, here's another extraordinary statement from the Song of Prayer. It was in the section 2 on page 18. And this is incredible to me. In paragraph 5, sentence 5, I'm just gonna ask Linda, could you find that paragraph? I'm sorry, page 18, paragraph 5. Could you just read that for us?
This is not death according to the world, for death is cruel in its frightened eyes.
Are you on page 18,
Yeah,
paragraph 5?
yeah. No?
Paragraph 5, my apologies, sentence 5.
Paragraph 5,
sentence 5.
sentence 5. Death is a reward and not a punishment.
Stop. Did you know that?
Nope.
There have been a few things that have just stuck with me, and that's one of them. Had you ever considered that death is reward and not punishment? That's
Yes.
even higher up than when they said if that prayer about praying for your enemies. If you're praying for your enemies, you're the one that needs the prayer. You have no enemies. And that sticks with me every day now. Here's another one. Death is reward and not punishment. Could you say that death is graduation?
Yes.
I never thought of it like that.
Well, when you get really old, you'll understand.
If you could
Right.
see, if you could see what I see every day when I go to visit Ken, there are these poor people in there who don't know who they are or where they are, and they have no awareness of anything around them. And it seems to me that dying in those situations could be a reward.
Well, it seems, well, let me give you a more likely scenario about death being a reward, not a punishment. It's said that some people like Paramahansa Yogananda,
Yeah,
they gave up the body. They weren't sick and decrepit. They just said, I'm done.
yeah.
I've graduated. I don't need this anymore. My role is finished. I cast the body aside with joy in favor of what's next. Aren't these incredible? I mean, it's just blowing my mind. So there are things in these readings that I had never considered before, but I thank God that my mind is being open to a number of possibilities. And so I'm gonna start to close out here, if that's all right. Gina, are you there? Would you be so kind as to just read the first paragraph of what you're going to be talking with the group about next week? And see if it's starting to fall in line in terms of, you know, how Jesus not only tells you the problem, but and then he'll tell you the solution. So
Okay.
do the first paragraph as kind of a teaser for
And
next.
that is going to be number,
We're on page 20,
right.
the holiness of healing.
Got it. That's what I thought. How holy are the healed? For in their sight, their brothers share their healing and their love. Bringers of peace, the Holy Spirit's voice, through whom he speaks for God, whose voice he is, such are God's healers. They but speak for him and never for themselves. They have no gifts but those they have from God, and these they share because they know that this is what he wills. They are not special, they are holy. They have chosen holiness and given up all separate dreams of special attributes through which they can bestow unequal gifts on those less fortunate. Their healing has restored their wholeness so they can forgive and join the song of prayer in which the healed sing of their union and their thanks to God.
So what is healing? Starts with a W.
Wholeness.
Wholeness.
I never knew that before A Course in Miracles. Always thought it was getting my broken leg fixed or my cancer cured. It's a whole different level, isn't it? Thank you for your time and your kind attention here tonight. Any final comments before we close things out? All right. Well, listen, I'm off to Phoenix on vacation next Monday.
Lucky.
And so I wish you, what is this, day 3 or 4? Happy Hanukkah.
Mhm.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I love you. I'm ready to get into what I believe is a well-deserved respite, and I hope you'll take this opportunity too, okay?
Have a wonderful
your-
time.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Yes. Happy
Get your
holidays.
rest. Spirit's got more work for us to do.
Namaste. Yeah.
Namaste.
See you
Namaste.
next year on my part,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right.
be
See you
here
next
with
week.
Gina next time. Absolutely.
Bye.
Have
Take
a
care,
great
friends.
vacation.
Yeah, have a good trip, Jim.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good trip.
Enjoy yourself, Jim. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody. See you later.
Prayer.
Bye.
Bye.